But nonetheless, it's time for a Siteman Softball podcast. Coming on here live here on Facebook. Let me share this, the usual spots that we're at. If it's your first time tuning in, always live in a variety of places, Facebook, YouTube, Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook, all kinds of goodies. I think we're on, what's it called? Twitch. Is that what the cool kids call it? Let me share here in Messenger to the guys. And boom. There we go. There we go. All right. Coming on here live. It's not going to be an extremely long, insane show here today, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Say hi. Give me a shout in the chat. Make sure you can hear me, all that kind of good stuff. Apologies for the late live episode here today. We'll get into too much detail. I'm completely fine. But I did have a little medical procedure today. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. But I did have to get put out for it. So I just got up a couple of hours ago out of anesthesia. So I'm going to be quite weird. Not that I wouldn't be anyway, but, God knows what's going to happen here on today's show. But feeling good, ready to go. Mr. Drew Rogers, Mr. Tyler Hampton, good to see you in the house. Always appreciate the shouts, the comments, the good stuff here as we roll into it. Yeah, so like I said, a little bit loopy. By the way, some of you asked me what's in my little magic, my Maginer here. It is not a martini or a gin and tonic or something. I don't know, whatever it would be. It is not. It's actually an energy powder that I use, and I'm going to talk about it on a couple of upcoming episodes because it is pretty darn cool. Little fun fact for you guys. All right, so to it today. This is episode number 77 of the Siteman Softball podcast, and the topics that we're going through, we're going to talk about the Siteman Pure Softball Bat. Was very excited to announce that last week amongst all the bat chaos that was going on last week. A little bit of bat chaos. A quick look at Vegas and a Head of Fame duel. We appreciate the sponsorship of Siteman Cancer Center for today's episode, and also the topic of the week, which is going to be the Siteman Pure Bat, is brought to you by our good friends at U.S. Bank Private Wealth Management. Strong partnerships are based on communication, trust, and taking the time to listen to your unique needs and financial goals. Bank Private Wealth Management, we are dedicated to providing you customized financial strategies. Visit us at usbank.com/privatewealth. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And also a reminder, you can catch a brand new episode of the Siteman Softball podcast, whether I'm sedated or not, every single Tuesday. Siteman.com/podcast, Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook, Siteman Softball on Instagram. Okay. I think that's pretty much, the introduction here before we talk about the bat. So first of all, it was funny. Last week we had our first night of league night. And it was funny. I left league night, came home, and there was 9,000 softball messages. And I was like, well, nothing very exciting happened at league night. So I know it's not about that. But I got home at middle of the night, and there was, the bat bans, the chaos that was going on. It was craziness. I don't have too much to share on that because, honestly, it has nothing to do with our team or the company that we work with in Pure, right? So I can't, all I hear is from secondhand stuff. I've got no other further information on anything. So you guys saw what it was. We'll see what happens. But interesting stuff to say the least. And I know that it just caused a complete shitstorm everywhere that you could possibly see last week. But hey, such is life in the world of slow pitch softball. It was interesting this weekend. There were other tournaments around. There was a D&E tournament locally here in St. Louis that Matt Petrov went out to out at Bridgeton. John Branham is saying Wichita players are loving the Pures as well. And yeah, one of our goals here is to get Pures in the hands of many people, as many people as we can, because we love them. We love the company. We want people to swing them. And what was had some, I don't want to call them extra Pures, because extra Pures, there's no such thing as an extra Pure, but ones that were not our team bats that Pure gives us and not our personal bats that Pure gives us. But I always sometimes will get some extras buy some extras, do some other stuff that I had around. And Matt went out this weekend to Bridgeton, out to BMAC, and they were sold out like this. People loving them, using them. It was great. I heard from Vegas. I heard a lot of reports that people were loving the Pures out there. Drew Rogers saying ball sounding really good in Vegas. Tyler Hampton's interested in the details with Siteman edition. So let's talk about that. I'm going to throw it up here. Let's show that here for you guys. And that's going to be kind of a weird overlay, but we're just going to go with it. You can kind of, here I am, I'm over here. Okay. So I'll talk about here the bat a little bit. Now, if you didn't see my post on Facebook, so, it's new, but if you did see it, might be a little bit of redundancy, but I want to talk a little bit about it, and then I'll answer any questions that I possibly can about it. So I've been working on this for a while behind the scenes. It's one of those things where, I want to talk about it right away, like months ago, but I had to wait till the right time, till wait everything was finalized, the design was finalized. By the way, Pure has just an unbelievable design team that did a great job on this, because really hit home the way that I wanted the bat to look. Because to me, I like bats that are not too busy. I want it to be kind of that professional vibe, clean, crisp. That was kind of the thing with it. So a shout out to Pure for really doing a tremendous job on the design of this bat, and really making it easy, because sometimes when you're designing something, things get lost in translation with the designer and this and that, and not the case here with Pure. They did a tremendous job, so big shout out to them. So the idea here behind the bat is really simple. I wanted to do it for a few different reasons, right? Number one, and like I said, I didn't want it just to be another repaint or something like that. So this is a brand new bat. We're going to be basing it on Pure technology and then kind of putting that on steroids, right? So for some specific specs and some new things and some cool stuff like that. So this is, a new bat. It's not just an NDM repainted. There are some new things with this as well. So the first thing is that what was very important to me, having a charitable aspect to this bat. If I was going to put my name on it, put Siteman name on it, I wanted to, mean something more than just being a bat. But I also didn't want it to be where it's just available for a week, or it's just available for a month, or just during breast cancer month or something like that. I want something that was available as supply demands, allows, where people could get this. And, the reason that was important was I was saying, okay, well, I'd love for a percentage of proceeds of this bat, which is exactly what it's going to do. And this is coming out of, I don't want to say my end, kind of a weird thing to say, but we're going to be donating it to Siteman Cancer Center. So what my plan is for every bat sold, I'm going to be taking a percentage of the proceeds and sending them directly to Siteman Cancer Center. And depending on the time of the year, we can rotate some of the cool stuff that they have going on there that would be the most helpful. So for example, part of the year we might do Siteman Kids. Part of the year we might do the Patient Care Fund, which helps get people to their cancer treatment and appointments that might not have transportation otherwise. We might send some to research. We're going to have a whole variety of different things, so you can always know that your money not only well spent on a great bat, but also going to a great cause and something bigger than softball. As you can see, there's the hashtag cancer awareness on there, and we have the Siteman Cancer Center on there as well. Obviously, this also is something personal for me for a variety of reasons. Obviously, the Siteman, and also players. One of our Siteman players and one of our man site players always, and played on Siteman in the past, was John Duhadway, who, as many have seen in the softball community, was diagnosed with cancer, an aggressive cancer, and he's kicking the crap out of it. And I was like, man, you know what? I need to get this guy a bat that he can kick the crap out of more stuff with it as well. So, I mean, just supporting things because, unfortunately, it touches everybody. So that was the one component that was very important. The second component was that the specs, right? So I'm going to take this off the screen. I think everyone got a good idea of what it looks like. So let me hang on this off the screens. So let's talk about the specs for this for a second, okay? There'll be more about this coming out in the future, but what I really wanted was a bat that you could swing in both associations, meaning an ASA version and a USSSA version. I'm not talking about a dual stamped. I'm talking about one in each association, exactly the same. I mean, the technology is different because it's ASA versus USSSA, but the weighting and the feel and all that kind of stuff, I want to be the same, because I remember in the past when I used to swing two different bat companies or do whatever, I'd have one bat for ASA, one bat for USSSA, and I could never quite get the ones feeling a game, and that always bothered me. So I like the idea that we could take a bat and make it the same for USSSA and ASA on that 13-inch model, okay? So the 13-inch model, which is what I'm calling the base model of the bat, is going to be the exact same weighting for USSSA and ASA. Now, by popular request, and this is a lot of kind of upper players, but tournament players as well, we also will have a 12-inch option in the USSSA. I don't think there'll be a 12-inch in ASA. Now we're getting like kind of crazy here right now. But there's going to be a 13 in both, and we'll have a 12 in USSSA. That was something that I know a lot of guys wanted, a lot of gals wanted, so I'm going to make sure to do that as well. There will be a specific load on this bat. We're going to talk about it more as it gets closer to release. We'll talk about the load on it. But what we're calling it kind of an optimization. I don't want to give it a weird name, but the load on it is basically through testing, seeing what is the maximum performance we could get with a specific load. And so it's going to be kind of like, I know it sounds kind of strange to say, almost a little bit less than a half-ounce end load on the bat. But we're going to get to that later on. Don't worry about all that kind of jazz right now, but it's going to be a great thing later on here. So the last thing, and this was another, all these things were equally important to me, is that, you know, expect the high quality. We expect the performance from Pure, right? We expect the durability from Pure. But what I didn't want to do is create some kind of ultra special, uber, backwards, upside down edition, blah, 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 that cost $1 million. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want this to be a top-end premium only some people could afford and maybe only collectors could afford. I did not want that. I wanted this to be something that's mainstream that anyone could swing, and it's easy for anyone to swing, whether it's a league night or whether you play in, you know, church league or whatever leagues you play in, all the way up tournaments, all the way up, and whether you're playing ASA or USSSA. So, you know, I've negotiated with Chris on this. You know, of course, you know, we'd love to make $1 zillion per bat, right? Wouldn't that be great? A lot of money to charity and a lot of money around. But I said, I want to create the most bottom line, inexpensive bat that's the same highest quality that you could possibly. So you're going to get a good deal on this bat. We're going to have a promo code on it as well. So don't expect this to be something that is crazy that breaks the bank. And so a big shout out to Chris Osborne, of course, at Pure for helping this vision come to life over there. Let me check one more thing. I have one more shout I want to give out for Pure here. Pure Design. Before I forget. Yes, it was Tyler with Pure Design, with the Pure Design team, who did an awesome job on that. We're also talking as well, finishing up some final logistics with the man who's here right now, which is Chris Clisby. So we got a lot going on here, a lot of cool stuff. Now, the big question that you probably have, when's the release date? When's it coming out, right? Is it coming out 2028? No, it's not. It will be out in just a couple months. However, I've learned my lesson from this in softball, just from watching companies. I'm not going to put a date out right now until I know 100%. But I can tell you that we are aiming for just a couple months from now. It'll be early summer 2023. Okay. Now, if something disastrous happens, all the bats come over and, you know, drown on the Mayflower or something, nothing we can do about that, right? But we are aiming to get this out quickly and this season. Okay. So it's not going to be something coming on. I know right now, it's a lot of interesting things with supply and demand. Pure can't even keep anything in right now. Good problem / bad problem, depending how we're looking at it, right? So, but these will be coming in, and these will be readily available. We'll have a special link. We'll have a promo code. I fully expect Matt Petrov to have 7,000 of them in his trunk. Probably not 7,000, but some. I'm going to try to also get him out to the fields locally here in St. Louis and other areas as well to let you guys try them out as well, and also out at league night and stuff like that. So that's the deal. That's the Siteman Pure Bat. Again, very, very excited about this. It's kind of a really cool dream come true to have, kind of surreal. So I'm looking forward to getting my paws on it and getting it out to all you guys, doing some good with it as well. So Siteman Pure Bat. Rolling ahead here. Now, I was not in Vegas this past weekend. I love to hear everybody else's impressions that were there or watching on the live streams. I did watch live streams, so I did watch some live streams. The challenge with Vegas, and again, my opinion, tell me if you agree or disagree on this. Agree or disagree, okay? Totally fine. While Vegas is great idea in theory, Vegas, you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff, yeah, of course. I just don't think the field dimensions are conducive to a strong, representation of Conference USSSA softball. That's my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Meaning that I know that you got this, there's 275 this way, there's 285 this way. I mean, we could make 300 is too short for Conference USSSA softball, right? But 300 being the minimum, these always cause chaos. And by chaos, we mean scores like you wouldn't believe. 700 to 600. Not really. But I think Rismando put up, 62 in a game? Numerous scores in the 50s and the 40s. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. People are playing to the conditions, right? Using all the home runs, obviously trying to hit it down later on. But it's going to be very interesting to see the differences. Who does well next week in Florida at the duel? Because the Vegas and could not be more different unless one was in the snow and one was in the heat. That's the only thing that's similar is they're both warmish, right? But Florida weather with the humidity is completely different. Florida weather with 325 at least fences, the unpredictable weather, you're going to see a completely different animal in Florida. Doesn't mean that Rismando doesn't go down there and win both duels. Rismando is a great team. I'm just saying that you're seeing a very, very different type of tournament when I'm watching it, right? And, so when I'm watching it, to me, there were some great games, great stuff. Mondo winning. Congratulations to Competitive Edge finishing second and I believe, 2 runs away. I don't find it all that fun to watch, and I like watching softball because of just how outrageous the scores are. That's my opinion. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Just David Siteman Garland, person's opinion on that. Like, I'd rather, no, I don't want to necessarily see the 2-1 games that were plaguing Florida in the past, but these were like, each inning was like an hour of some of these games. It was crazy. It seemed like that, right? So congratulations to teams, though, and I think one thing that Vegas does a good job of is for some teams to get the rust off, get ready to go before the duel. So congratulations to all the teams that were out there. Also looked like there was a lot of local teams, out there. So good to see them throwing their hat into the ring. Now, let's look forward here a little bit. Let's look forward to the duel. Now, the duel, as we all know, is a completely different animal, right? Erase Vegas. The joke in the past I heard from numerous people, kind of the true joke, is that people go to Vegas and pad their stats and then just pray in Florida that they can survive, right? Vegas, stat pad. Everyone hits home runs and stuff. Florida, a little bit of a different animal, right? So what's interesting, first of all, I believe the deadline for signing up for the duel might have already passed. I don't know if they let in some last-minute teams or anything like that, but I'm going to go through the teams list with you guys here and show you. By count that I had this morning, there are 30 teams signed up for the duel. 30 teams signed up for the duel. So let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second. Allow. Okay. Awesome. Here we go. So here's what I see on the website here, right? And again, if I can't count, Don't hold it against me. But I see 10 AA teams. Chick-fil-A, Classic Glass, JBL, Nitro Circus, Roof X, S&E, Seminoles, Smash It Bay Area Legends, Sports Reach, West Point. So I see 10 AA teams. I see 4 major teams, all 4 of them. Competitive Edge, Monster, who's making their debut, just like they did last year in Florida. They did not go to Vegas. Rismondo and MPT Rentals. So those are 4 major teams. Then you have 4 teams that are in conference purgatory. Good old-fashioned conference purgatory. We've been there, done that. 4 teams in conference purgatory are Dirty Vegas, Epic, LS, and TaylorMade. So what that means is right now they are not classified yet to what division that they're going to be in. So some of these teams, my guess is, are between A and B, and some are between A and AA, right? So the first few weeks of the season will determine that. Now, what's interesting, and assuming that assuming the rules are the same and the way they should be, big assumption, is that the TBD teams end up getting putting towards the bottom of their lowest division that they could play. And I know that last year because we were TBD B to A last year, and we were ranked at the bottom of to start the season, right? So in theory, any team here that's between A and B should be ranked at the bottom of B, and any team that's ranked between AA and A should be ranked at the bottom of A based on past precedent, okay? Now, might that go up in smoke this year? I don't know, but that's what the rule was here. That's how that works. So we'll see how that goes in terms of seeding. So 4 TBD teams. Then we get into A. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hang on, I just miscount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 teams. Aristotle, Bay Area Legends, Cheap Suits, Elnis Glass, NFM Lending, Primetime, Rebel, your favorite team, Siteman Pure, Straight Play, True. Okay? And then just 2 B teams. Found this a little surprising. Just 2 B teams. We got the Beloli brothers and the Van Wert Frickers. Now, what I can tell you about the Beloli brothers and the Van Wert Frickers is that I will mispronounce their names the entire year. Guaranteed. Just going to say it right there. So if you're a Fricker or a brother, just know I'm going to bungle your name all year, okay? No offense. Just 2 B teams. Now, what I don't see, now there's 30 teams. Let me turn off the screen sharing here. What I don't see is any local teams at all. There's usually a few in there, Youngs and this team and that team. Now, I don't know if they wait and they say, okay, we got a couple spots left. I don't really know. But that'll be interesting to see if there is or is not any local teams or if 30 is the way we're going in. But the schedule will be out early next week. And obviously the next show, the next edition of the Siteman Softball Podcast is going to be breaking that all down. We'll go through some predictions. We'll take a look at our schedule. That'll be the most exciting thing. What I can tell you is, knock on wood, but we'll have all players available except for David Bear, who is going to be on his final, rehabbing. Will be ready to go after the duel, which we knew a long time ago. But actually, props to David because his rehab is going faster than he thought, because at one point we were talking way later in the season when he'd come back, and now we're looking more Texas-y, unless, no jinx. We should have every other player available down in the duel in Florida. And boy, I can't believe, Kirsten from conference, USSSA sent out an email this week to all the teams and said, see you next week. And I could not believe it. Just all of a sudden seeing the next week there was pretty exciting. I was like, oh my God, we are that close. We are less than 2 weeks away here from the duel. And as of today, a week and 2 days until we're getting it started down there. So looking forward to it. The official season begins, and we'll be heading down to Florida next week. So that wraps it up for today's edition of the podcast, talking about the topic of the week brought to you by U.S. Bank Private Wealth Management was the Siteman Pure Softball Bat. a quick look at Vegas and ahead to the Hall of Fame duel. Big thank you also to the Siteman Cancer Center for their sponsorship. Reminders at Siteman Softball on Facebook, Siteman Softball Nation at Siteman Softball on Instagram, Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook, SitemanSoftball.com/podcast. You can also connect with me at David Siteman Garland on Instagram, and also David Garland, because apparently I do not have my middle name, on Facebook. So Facebook.com/David Garland. All right, folks. See you next time. Bye.